Let's get right into it because, I got to go through puberty later.
Oh.
It's okay. Welcome to MotoMouths, the podcast for MotoGP, motorsports, and more. I'm your host, Zoe, and no, I did not just get back from the Eras Tour. I have a sinus infection.
Zoe.
It's okay. I always have a sinus infection.
I'm your other host, also named Zoe, and I don't have a sinus infection, but this is breaking my heart.
I mean, listen, I never not have a sinus infection.
That's horrifying. You realize that, right?
Yeah, but that's what happens when you have one sinus.
Okay. And on that note... Okay, so I'm not going to make you laugh today.
Yeah.
Got it. Following.
Anyways, so on that note,
let's shift to notes from the Buriram test.
Buriram.
There's no secret third thing category this week. There's just thorns and roses.
Much like life itself.
And I want to start with the thorns because we got to start with the bad to get to the good.
I agree.
And that means we can start with Jorge Martin for about a minute at the top of the pod.
Oh, so good. Great. Every pod.
Jorge is reportedly still feeling 2 to 3 tenths behind everybody. He's feeling good, he says. He's feeling stable. He's feeling consistent. But he does say he's about 2 to 3 tenths.
Consistently 2 to 3 tenths off the pace.
Right. So, that's not awesome, knowing that we're going into a race this weekend. But the good news is the race this weekend is at Buriram. It'll be at the place that they are testing. Everyone will have been comfortable there enough. He knows this track now. I think this is the best way for him to start a season in maybe a year.
Yeah. And he didn't crash.
He didn't.
It's an improvement from last year.
And a lot of people crashed this year. And speaking of crashing, Toprak verbatim said, maybe I need to crash more.
Maybe he's right.
And maybe he's right. Listen, he's having issues getting on top of the bike and understanding how it works. Remember Jack Miller said some crazy shit about Moto2 to him?
Yeah.
Now Fabio Quartararo's gotten involved.
Oh,
Jack
God.
Miller is still helping him, which I think everybody should help him right now. It's testing. Based on my read of the situation, he is despondent. It's getting Eeyore levels over there.
Oh, no. Already?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And he already said it's going to take him 5 races to acclimate. So, buddy, you still got a ways to go.
How are we already at Eeyore?
I think we're at Eeyore.
Oh,
I'm just going to
God.
throw that out there. Speaking of Fabio Quartararo told All and Sundry that Yamaha needs at least a few more months with their V4 before it's anywhere near competitive. Guess what we're doing in 2 days?
Racing.
Yeah. So he's planning on having a bad year is what is between the lines there.
Yeah.
So that was bad.
Thorns.
There are some roses. Aprillia is looking good still.
Great.
We talked last test that Marco Bezzecchi was things are looking good. The bike looks better overall, but not by much.
Secret third thing.
Yeah, secret third thing of the last test. But on this test, on the last day of this test, Marco Bezzecchi and Eeyore were the top 2 on the timing sheets. Yeah.
I love that little guy.
Our favorite little guy, Eeyore.
Not our favorite little guy, but one of them.
One of them. Definitely in the list. In the group. We're iGirls. We're not AI girls.
No.
We're iGirls. The problem for Aprillia, it seems, is that same as we saw in the last test, Ducati has gotten better. Aprilia's gotten better as well, enough to close the gap, but not by much. So it's looking like Ducati is really strong for the season. And I've included that in the rose. I know it's a thorn for everybody else.
But it's a rose for us.
It's a rose for us. Marc did have a hat trick crash weekend.
So it's a typical Marc Marquez crash weekend.
Right. And I'm so excited to tell you this because I think you're going to have a heyday with it. He blamed most of that crash count on the fact that he was not paying super close attention because he's been having tummy issues.
And in this way, Marc Marquez and I are very much alike.
He's one of us.
His stomach stay hurting.
Someone implied it was food poisoning. Someone else implied it was gastroenteritis, which this sport loves to talk about.
They love to talk about gastroenteritis. He's got gastroenteritis.
But suffice it to say, I think he had tummy issues. He had some tummy problems.
Hot girl tummy issues.
Hot girls have tummy problems.
It's the only way
to bring them down.
Yeah, to keep them humble.
So he crashed a bunch. No one's super worried about it from a development perspective. Like, they seem like they're all on the same page. I think Marc will continue to make like evil changes throughout the year, but that's just what he does anyways.
Modus operandi.
Pecco, good news, says the bike is good and different. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit, because what I think he's trying to say is that the bike is better than it was last year. And he's not having issues to the same level as he was last year, but I think he's having to like relearn this bike and figure a couple of different things out, but it's not as bad as it was.
Interesting.
So I think he's having the best day ever.
Good.
After last year, I think he needed this testing round to actually go into the season with some kind of confidence. Because, brother was struggling.
Well, now we have a new Eeyore.
Right. Like, there's only one Eeyore at a time. They got to pass it around. Alex Marquez also had a series of crashes, and Pecco had to abandon his bike from technical issues at one point. So it's kind of crazy that Ducati had as good a test weekend as they did.
Crazy.
Right. Couple admin things. This one's sad, and this one is like a big conversation.
Yeah.
Phillip Island is not sticking around, and we should all cry about it.
So last week, we edited it out of the episode.
Okay, well, why don't we just show everyone what we look like with our pants off, Zoe?
I think it's so funny.
Listen.
We edited it for time purposes.
Yeah, totally. That's what we did.
Zoe said, I'm 90% sure Phillip Island is sticking around.
Well, and everybody kind of did. It came out of nowhere.
And then the next day, it was like, Adelaide is the new Australian MotoGP race.
So annoying.
It's really annoying. And nobody's happy about it.
No one's happy about it, except for like 3 people who are firmly in the pocket of the organizers.
Of Big Adelaide.
Of Big Adelaide and Big MotoGP SCP.
SCG.
SCG, excuse me. Okay, so context. Instead of going to Phillip Island, we are going to go to Adelaide and race in a park within the city. So it's similar to like Melbourne and F1, where there's a park in the city and we'll race in it.
I believe it's where the Australian Grand Prix F1 used to be.
I think so. The problem is that based on accounts from people who know what they're talking about, there's not a ton of room to actually build this track out to make it safe in the way that the sport currently requires, unless you cut down a ton of trees, remove a lot of businesses, even some private homes.
They're exercising eminent domain.
So it's like confused as how that's going to go.
They said, we need to possess your house in order to let Marc Marquez crash.
Right, safely.
And then the good people of Adelaide are like, fuck off, cunt.
Well, and you bring up a really great point is that no one knew this was happening. Like, we were having a little josh about it being shocking, but it really was. Because a lot of businesses in Phillip Island or around Phillip Island are very, very concerned and scared because that's a big part of their financial planning for the year is a race that comes to them. And then residents and business owners in Adelaide are like, what the fuck are you talking about? One of the things I saw floating around is that there's a school like kind of around where the track is planned to be that when these things happen, they have to shut down the area for about 3 to 4 weeks before the event to set everything up. So the school is like, so are we supposed to close?
Oh my God.
And all of these things I'm sure will have answers and planning.
Are you?
It's going to have to.
I guess.
But it just is a messy rollout in a lot of ways.
It's very much giving Dr. Robbie in the last episode of The Pit.
Truly. The biggest thing that I think people are concerned about is that this is technically a street track in the way that like Brno is a street track, in the way that Melbourne is a street track, where these are streets, but it's more of a park system.
It's a hybrid.
Right. It's somewhere in the middle. It's definitely nowhere near Monaco, nowhere near like Baku, but it's not a racetrack. So the issue is safety, of course. What they're likely going to do is pull back the top speeds for the week, which means that they'll have like a specific setup and a specific tire set, and like things will change for that specific weekend, which will inevitably make the racing worse because it's a track not built for this. There are some pros, and I feel like I should talk about them, which is Phillip Island is really remote. So Adelaide is much more accessible for fans, for businesses, growing the sport, casual, like, oh, maybe we should think about going to the race. It's in town kind of fans. There is better infrastructure. Phillip Island infrastructure was real bad by all accounts. And theoretically, I think there's some conversation about how they could get more money from like the city of Adelaide and the state as well, because there's beef between states, as anyone in the US would understand. One other thing that I thought this was interesting, the streets are suggesting that this is actually coming from the Espoletas instead of being a Liberty-driven thing.
Who?
So the Espoletas are the family that has owned Dorna for a long time.
Oh, okay.
And so they've been running MotoGP ever since Dorna got involved.
Got it.
They are cutthroat.
Good.
I love a cutthroat family in business. I really do, because you never know what you're going to get. Which is why this is so, I believe it, if I'm being honest, because they are the ones who kind of brought in Liberty. They're the ones who've been making a lot of the recent moves to kind of what the casual observer would think of as like libertizing the sport. Not in like a political perspective, but in like in
an Enlightenment era.
Right. We're not talking like colonies declaring independence. We're talking like as in the Liberty Media Company.
Yeah.
So I think that's where like the rebrand came from. I think there's other things that you can point to in MotoGP pre like acquisition finalization that the Espoletas were moving in a way that they expected Liberty to kind of move. And so I'm sure Liberty's backing them, and there's a lot of like conversations about financial support and ways they can like activate on the weekend. But I thought that was very interesting. So a lot of people are talking about it as if this is a Liberty like flub, not knowing fans in the sport and the athletes.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I think from a safety perspective, it's really weird. I'm interested to see what they have to say about it. I don't really trust them because we've seen kids die in the last few years and very little change
coming from that.
Yeah, this is one of the things where it's like, I'm not going to be fun for a second, but it grinds my fucking gears that these riders won't unionize. This is what it's for, but they don't have a spine and they don't care. And they all understand that if MotoGP grows, they get more money, and that's kind of their be-all, end-all right now. So I don't know. We'll see, I guess. This will be our last year at Phillip Island. And the racing inevitably is going to be worse at Adelaide, just for a variety of reasons, because Phillip Island is one of the best tracks on the calendar.
Nobody respects tracks anymore.
Well, and here's the other thing. There's apparently a dirt track kind of situation owned by a billionaire family right outside of Adelaide.
Kokoda style.
Right. And that family that owns it has multiple times kind of lobbied for MotoGP to come to them. And so common thinking is also that they're going to get down the road of planning Adelaide and be like, maybe this doesn't fucking work in the city, and then switch gears really quickly to this track outside of the city. It's like 25, 30 minutes out, which is also going to be bad racing.
Yeah.
So who knows? Who knows? We'll see. And we'll talk about it.
As we're wont to do.
Yeah. Speaking of money, I saw this and my jaw dropped, right? Apparently, there's a minimum salary discussion that is being floated around for like a new kind of regulation agreement. This has come up before, but I think it's extra important for them to try and confirm it now. But the idea is that there's a minimum salary for all riders from 2027 on, and the minimum would be $500,000. That would include all full-time riders, rookies, and it would not include performance-related bonuses, which is a direct dig at Ducati, who pays shit, but you get bonuses based on where you end up every race. So Marc my guess is that he sucked them dry last year. But a lot of these guys are getting paid $100,000 a year. They're like, I mean, that's an exaggeration, but they're getting paid peanuts.
That's crazy.
Meanwhile, you've got like Marc Marquez and Fabio Quartararo, who I think in their own right deserve to be paid a shit ton more too. But like that whole spectrum is a huge issue, especially when you know that they're going to have medical issues for the rest of their life. Two things on contract commentary.
It's contract time.
Pecco is being really intensely hunted and courted by Aprillia. And wouldn't that be fun?
I guess.
Bestieism at the Aprillia garage.
We're going to make friendship bracelets.
I think it would be cute. Sue me. There's a lot of, and I agreed with it, discussion about Pecco going to Yamaha. Now that there's a lot more rumors about Jorge Martin going to Yamaha, that has kind of stopped. And now Massimo Rivola is apparently calling Pecco up and blowing his phone up constantly.
He's the hottest girl in town. I heard that we're going to hear basically everything in like the next week.
Yes,
crazy.
That's my guess. It could even start today.
We're recording this Wednesday morning, everyone. That's why we're not talking about it.
I know. I'm tired. I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
It's too damn bad.
I do think, here's my catastrophizing though, if Pecco gets on that Aprilia, which is all around reported to be like a solid, good bike, and he gets beat by the end of the year by Marco Bezzecchi, and I'm talking like fully by the end of the year, he's had enough time to acclimate, that's a huge problem.
End of year 26 or 27?
This would be 27.
Got it.
Because it's one thing to be Marc Marquez's teammate. Everybody knows how that plays out. It's another thing to be a two-time world champion in MotoGP and be kind of tossed around by your teammate who's finished in the top 3 twice.
With a tattoo of a wooden leg.
With a tattoo of a wooden leg and also a photorealistic tattoo, I think, of his dog. Very cute.
Very cute.
Other thing on contracts is Marc Marquez is holding up his contract decision making. We've talked about this before. I do think that there's, we've talked about it, where I think he's looking for a 1+1 based on how the bike was going to perform, because he doesn't really know. No one knows what's going to happen in 27. I think Marc has a lot of trust in Ducati, but that trust doesn't like buy houses or championships. It's now looking like Ducati is pushing really hard for a 2 contract, and Marc has been kind of pushing back on it, and people have been confused. And on top of the whole 1+1, like, see how 27 goes, he's also cited the fact that his shoulder injury is still like kind of kicking him around, and so he really wants to try and feel like he's in a better position health-wise.
And his tummy hurts. Like, come on, guys.
Come on. Don't kick a man when he's down with his tummy issues.
But he's down on the ground because his stomach's cramping.
Did you just imply Marc Marquez has menstrual cramps?
Have you never cramped so hard because of your tummy hurt that you lay down on the ground?
No.
We live 2 very different existences.
I haven't had cramp tummy hurts. I've had tummy hurts. I'm learning a lot today, you guys.
Yeah.
But based on his comments at the end of the test, and again, Marc lies, we don't fucking know. I feel like we're going to end up with a 2 with some kind of exit clause that may or may not come into play.
Which, like, is that not functionally the same thing?
Right. Yes.
So
it is. So we're racing at Buriram, which means we have to do our annual predictions. Racing is back. We need to predict.
And we need to make our Buriram predictions.
Yeah, we can do this really fast.
Okay. So we're going to do top 3, Crash King, Japanese Cup.
Yes. Speed round.
I'll go first. My top 3, Marc Marquez, champion. Number 2, Jorge Martin.
Wow.
Number 3, Marco Bezzecchi.
Okay. My top 3, also Marc Marquez. And then I'm just truly shooting from the cuff here. Marco Bezzecchi, Pecco Bagnaia.
Crash King, I'm not going to make the same mistake I did last year.
And what was that?
We forgot about Johan Zarco. We cannot forget about Johan Zarco.
I'm always forgetting about Johan Zarco.
Johan Zarco, Crash King.
Okay. I'm going to go with, because I feel like Toprak is a dark horse, easy answer. But I think he's waited early in the season. I don't think it'll be forever. I'm going to go with Pedro Acosta. That's my guess.
Also who you said last year.
Yeah, I'm sticking with it.
And then for the Japanese Cup, Honda.
Yeah, sorry.
We're not making the same mistake we did last year.
No. And I think this one's a shoo-in. I think we're good here.
Yeah. Which is also what we said last year.
Listen, it's what we say every time. That's not my fault.
Okay, we need to make Buriram predictions.
We'll do speed round here too.
Okay, top 3. Marc Marquez, Marco Bezzecchi, P2. P3I. Why not?
Why not?
Let's start with a random one. And then for Fail King, Toprak.
I'm going to go with Pecco Bagnaia win, Alex Marquez P2, Marc Marquez P3.
Whoa.
Fail King, Digia.
No, really enjoy her.
Wow, it's like I feel like we're just working
back in it.
Like an old muscle. This is great.
Muscle memory. Okay, that brings us to the Great Wide World of Motorsport. So, In the world of F1, Toto made some fun comments, as he is wont to do.
See, the thing is Toto opens his mouth, and I do often feel like it's an even 50-50 shot of like, is it like memeable clap back at the bully, or is it like the worst thing you could say in that instance ever possible? And it's the second one this time.
In the TP press conference, like, what was that, at testing?
Yeah. The context is that they were like, he was kind of getting, I hesitate to use the word bullied because I don't think that's what it was, but he was essentially getting ganged up on by the press and other team principals about the like engine compression issue.
Right.
And of course, like Toto has never learned how to de-escalate a day in his life. His issue is when he gets backed into a corner, he lashes the fuck out. And it's entertaining. I won't lie. But what he did this time is actually like really fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, read the exact quote.
Please.
He said, "We were told compression ratio is something that we were illegal for, which is totally bullshit, utter bullshit. Now the story comes up that our fuel is illegal. I don't know where that comes from," and starts spinning again. Maybe tomorrow we're inventing something else. I don't know. I've been on the Epstein files. God knows what. And then he looks over to his press officer off camera and goes, "You're not happy with me saying that, are you?" And then what's actually really like crazy is that Fred Vasseur picks up his microphone and goes, "Hey, you can't say that. Don't say that."
Fred Vasseur, once again, you're the realest bitch here.
Shocking.
There's a lot to unpack here.
Right.
First of all, was anyone saying anything about the fuel? Like, don't go shining a light.
Right. Don't draw attention to that.
Where the light is not yet, you know?
I'm also just like, why are you equating the press doing their job, maybe in an antagonistic manner, to people accusing you of like sexual violence and pedophilia? Like, what is happening in your little brain?
What's so crazy about this is that I feel like a lot of the world is treating the Epstein files like American school shootings. You know how Brits are like, well,
Yes.
You guys have gun violence against children.
Like, we don't have AC, but you have gun violence. And it's like, okay, those aren't the same thing.
Not the same thing. But I think what they're not understanding is that this is like a WikiLeaks Panama Papers level of global
leadership, top
issues.
Down.
It is entirely possible.
Well, the issue, I know exactly what you're going to say, which is it is entirely possible that he could be in the files at a later dump. And the craziest thing is Flavio Briatore is.
Least surprising thing I could have ever heard in my entire life.
Lawrence Stroll has been implicated. Like, there are people in F1 that are verbatim by name involved.
And we must say this. The Epstein files are tranches of millions of emails.
Right.
The people who are in them are not necessarily participating in this sex trafficking of young women.
Right. But we don't know that right now. And this is like radioactive toxic shit, and you do not fucking go near it, even as a joke.
It's also not something to joke about.
Right. It is genuinely one of the most insane things I think I've heard a TP say, and Christian Horner was around.
No, literally. Flavio was there.
It blows my mind.
It's just, I think that I've noticed this a lot. I think men don't take it seriously.
No, of course they don't. Of course they don't. Well, and Toto's issue is that he's getting attacked. And the first thing he goes to is like, what's the craziest thing that someone could accuse me of next after cheating in the sport that I participate in, and it's being in the Epstein files? And it's like, brother,
that's not crazy.
There are people in those files that everyone has beloved. Nothing is solid anymore. I don't understand why you would make that argument. It's so incredibly self-centered and idiotic.
Also, it's like people are getting implicated in the Epstein files because Epstein got a news briefing from like a daily subscription service to his email inbox. It's not the most far-fetched thing.
It's not.
If he subscribed to an ESPN or like a New York Times newsletter about sports like The Athletic or something, and they're reporting on Lewis Hamilton winning his World Championship in 2017.
God forbid it comes out that he has like a relationship with Petronas or Marriott Bonvoy.
I know.
And then like the brand isn't involved in this now. Like you have no idea what's going to happen. And now you're the one who said, actually, like, who the fuck knows? Maybe I'm in the files. What is wrong with you?
Also, like, listen, don't go throwing stones from glass houses. Mercedes.
Right. Like historically involved in the Nazi cause. Oh my God, it was so stupid. Unbelievably stupid.
Speaking of stupid,
Christian Horner.
Drive to Survive remains a very interesting television program that I will continue to not watch.
I mean, same. I got enough going on. I did see someone I think a journalist talking about it, and they were saying that this season is actually really crazy because the team principals and even not the team, the people in leadership are the main characters in a way that no one's asking for. Like Zach Brown is, there's a whole episode about Zach Brown, and Andrea Stella is not once even explained to be the team principal.
I would kill myself rather than watch that.
Well, also it's Andrea Stella, get up. Christian Horner is a big part of this season of Drive to Survive, apparently, which I think is a horrible fucking mistake.
Does he have money in it? Because it's the same thing last year. Last year it was the arc of Christian Horner.
Yeah, my guess is he does. And so the latest bombshell of Christian Horner and Drive to Survive is that he directly accuses Helmut Marko and Oliver Mintzlaff for being the reason he was fired, which we all knew.
Fork found in kitchen.
We all knew. He also makes this really vague kind of comment about, when Dietrich died, I think a lot of people were upset, and that's when I started losing control and power in the team. And I'm like, well, Dietrich died a while ago, so that's not true. He then made some weird comments about the Verstappens and Jos Verstappen. He also basically said that if Marco and other leadership within the team hadn't been pushing him so hard, he wouldn't have spent so much time on youth drivers and pulling up young drivers, which I don't think is the flex that you think it is. So
he's just such a jackass.
It's just I don't care. I really don't care. The biggest thing that stresses me out about this, though, is apparently he is driving a group of potential investors who are seriously interested in buying a stake in Alpine.
He's going to usurp Travis Kelce?
Ryan Reynolds, get up. Where are you? Rise.
Where are you? Fight back.
Fight back. And that is reportedly his way that he is looking at wriggling back in.
Okay. Wriggle the fuck away from here.
Also, if you want to wriggle back in Alpine, sure. Okay. We got to talk
Lando.
Yeah.
Okay. So last week we talked quite a bit about Lando Norris's stupid comments about Max and saying he should essentially sit down and shut up with where the sport is going.
Right.
And I said it's very much giving reactionary rise of Trump and MAGA.
Yeah, I think he was just annoyed.
This week, he does pitch perfect what these right-wing, red-pilled trolls do, which is to say, oh, you were mad about that? I was just trolling. I was just your reactions, ha, 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 so funny. I just want to see your reaction. I don't really believe that. I agree with everybody else.
Yeah, I think it's, people were asking him, it seems like it's you, and then the most of the grid is kind of agreeing with Max. And he goes, well, I also agree with Max. I just wanted to say that and see what everybody thought. It's okay, brother. It's no, and this is what we talked about last week, where I've been watching The West Wing, and there's a lot of conversation about the presidential voice and whether or not one of these characters has it. And it's I don't think Lando understands that he is now
the champion. He's
a leader in the sport. I hate it. I don't like it. I wish it wasn't true. But he is. He is a leader in the sport, and he is acting like he's a 12-year-old.
Well, everybody's 12.
Everybody's 12. It's really annoying. It genuinely is really annoying because it's how...
It's immature.
How are we as fans or people who care about the sport supposed to trust anything you say now?
Well, we didn't in the first place.
Yeah, but this is more of a thought experiment.
I mean, you don't. You lose all credibility real quick. And the thing is that may play out well on the the Instagram meme accounts and Twitter and the Reddit forums.
Well, that's been crazy because everybody has been writing so hard for him being the dissenting voice against Max. And now they're scrambling undercover because everyone's oh, he actually doesn't believe that.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
It's just stupid. That's what
it's just stupid. It's just stupid. That brings us to the grid as ... which for the uninitiated is a moment in our podcast where we categorize a handful of riders and drivers from across the great wide world of motorsports, a person, place, thing, idea, and concept in honor of Toprak, Razgatlioglu, and Pecco last year. We're going to do riders and drivers as characters in the Winnie the Pooh.
Like a classic cast.
Great cast characters.
What are the names of Winnie the Pooh's friends?
Okay, would you like to go first?
I would. Obviously, like I can't say Eeyore is Pecco or Toprak because we did just discuss.
It's too easy.
Too simple, low-hanging fruit. I think Eeyore is me. I don't know if that counts, but Eeyore is every fan who's really sad about Phillip Island right now.
Yeah.
Getting back into like the actual serious part of this, I'm going with Kanga and Rue, and that is Marco Bezzecchi and Ayagura.
I really like that.
Right? I think it's cute.
That makes me happy.
I'm excited about that one. And then Marc Marquez is Christopher Robin. Not because he's sweet and kind and friendly and joyous, but because he is like
He's the
so
odd man
different.
out,
Yes,
the
he's the odd
alien.
man out, and he is in some ways leading everything.
Max Verstappen is the owl.
Yeah. He's the owl, but if he was like 20 years younger, you know?
Yeah.
Like he's the
Yeah.
owl before he hits middle age.
Exactly. I think also, just like off topic, but not really, I think Max Verstappen is also the Tootsie Roll owl, the
Yeah.
Tootsie Pop owl.
Yeah.
I just think it's giving. And then this isn't a driver currently on the grid, but it's my podcast. I can do what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Ricciardo is Tigger.
I was trying to think of who was Tigger to me, and really no one was coming to mind, which is actually such an indictment of the sport as a whole right now.
Isn't it though?
Yeah.
Daniel
Yeah.
Ricciardo is Tigger.
Bonus, Oscar Piastri is Piglet because he's timid. Don't got that dog in him.
So true.
And that's me manifesting for the opposite. I think that's it.
I think that's it. Okay. That brings us to the end of the podcast. Make sure to like, share, rate, review, subscribe to, comment on, engage with any and all of the above to help the podcast grow. We really appreciate it. And then come hang out with us on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, YouTube. And let's keep chatting soon.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.